Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Tittle Tattle Tarot. It's Georgie. And on the table today, we have the Gilded Tarot. And I'm going to ask the Gilded Tarot lots of questions regarding the Tudor period. And the particular reading I would like to do today is on Princess Elizabeth, who was later to be Elizabeth I. Her adolescence, around the age of 13 to 14, that kind of age. So it's very specific in the time. So Princess Elizabeth, age 13 to 14 in the Tudor court. So Princess Elizabeth, her father had died, and her stepmother, Catherine Parr, had survived him. And within a couple of months of Henry dying, Catherine Parr had married the man that she'd always loved. She married Thomas Seymour, and Thomas Seymour was Jane Seymour's brother. And Thomas Seymour, Catherine Parr, and Princess Elizabeth, they set up home together. Very strange little mixed family there. The three of them set up home together. The first thing I want to know is Thomas Seymour. Really unpleasant character, this, but Catherine Parr thought he was wonderful. Did Thomas Seymour love Catherine Parr? Was this a marriage of love? Did he really love Catherine Parr? Because the way he behaved, and you'll see this, hopefully in the cards will show us, we'll see what the cards will tell us, but he didn't act as though he loved her, let's put it like that. Did Thomas Seymour really love Catherine Parr? Strength in reverse, that's not a love card. No, it's a sign of weakness. Let me just have a look, see what else we've got. Let's pull three. No, I don't think we need to pull three. We've got two here and they're good enough for me. Let's put them up the right way. If we had, did he love Catherine Parr, and we had them up this way, I would say, yes, he'd go into battle for her. He was her strength. He wanted to protect her. Just a loving strength around her, cared very much. And that Knight of Wands, well, there's his passion for her. She was the only woman for him. The Knight of Wands, what passion this man has. And, if you're with a Knight of Wands, oh, you'll know it. How wonderful. What wonderful times you'll have. So, yes, I mean, he would have showed his ardor for her. And, oh, it would have been a very sort of fiery, wonderful marriage, and full of lust and love. We haven't got that, have we? We had them both up the other way. I see him as a very weak man, really. I think he was probably a bully, and like all bullies, they're basically weak. He wouldn't go to battle for her. I don't think her feelings really mattered that much to him. It was convenient, but this is fundamentally a very weak man. Not an attractive quality, is it? But she couldn't see that. She loved him. She loved him. As for him loving her, well, no, I mean, his wand was not on fire for her, unfortunately. Poor Catherine. No, his attentions were elsewhere, which leads in nicely to my next question. So, poor old Catherine, she really, really fell for this man, and she'd loved him all the time that she was married to Henry. Her attentions were really on Thomas Seymour. But no, it wasn't reciprocated. He did marry her, but I would imagine by then she was very much a woman of quite a lot of wealth and high standing. So it was a very good marriage for him. So I would like to know, well, what did Thomas Seymour think about young Elizabeth, who, remember, was only 13 at the time, something like that, very, very young teenager. What did he feel about Princess Elizabeth? Thomas Seymour. So we know how he felt about his wife. Let's put his wife there. So let's see what have we got regarding Thomas Seymour and his feelings about Princess Elizabeth. Thomas Seymour and how he felt about Princess Elizabeth. Thomas Seymour, Princess Elizabeth. Again, both money cards, both money cards. Three of Pentacles. I think there was a bit of a plan here. It's sort of working together to get what you want. And I don't know who he was working with, but he had a plan. And I don't know whether that was to hopefully eventually marry her. I know that he did want to do that. So whether that was in his mind when she was 13, or whether it was just to get his way with her, and he maybe conspired with other people, because this is very much a working together with people, sort of a very industrious way of working to get what you want. So he has a plan. This is a man with a plan. So as far as Elizabeth's concerned, he has a plan, and whether it's sexual gratification or whether it's something else, I don't know, but he had a plan. And Queen of Pentacles, well, yes, she is his target, not this one. This is where his golden egg is with Elizabeth, this young 13, 14 years old. And to us now, I mean, that's horrendous. Things were very different then, obviously. But this, you know, with the peacock and the wealth and the, yeah, that's where his attention lay. Haven't got any cups here. No cups at all. But it's money or just no passion. So quite interesting, but no sort of, no emotion here at all. I think he did what he did for himself, just for his self-gratification. What a lovely man. I said he was nice, didn't I? So, okay, so that's the relationship there. Now, poor old Elizabeth, when she moved in with her stepmother and this vile stepfather, he was basically trying to bed her. He was being very inappropriate. And I want to know how Elizabeth felt about that. Did she find it amusing? Did it frighten her? You know, how did she feel about this stepfather? I don't know whether you call him a stepfather, whatever he was. How did she feel about her stepmother's husband coming into her chambers? Basically, just trying to get her in a situation that she wasn't ready for. Did she think it was amusing? Did she feel frightened by him? Very inappropriate behavior. Even for those times, it was inappropriate. How did she feel about his attentions towards her? Six of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, Six of Pentacles, the right way up is give and take, and it's reciprocal, and it's, you know, well, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and, you know, we rub along together and we get on well, and I do this for you, you do that for me. If it's the right way up, and it's sort of a charity as well, you know, you've done something for me, thank you very much, I'll do something for you. It's very, very even and very fair. But this way up, you know, it's not fair give and take. You've got a much, much older man. How many times older than her? I don't know how much, but, you know, 13 years old, 14 years old. And he's trying to take from her. He's trying to probably take her virginity, take her trust. Take. And he wants to take from her. And she knew it, and she was very unhappy with it. Let's have another card for this. Taking from her. You know, this was probably a nightly thing that she would have to try and avoid him, get up early in the morning because he would try and climb in bed with her. And it was really as vile as that. So another thought from Elizabeth, he's trying to take from me. Yeah, Four of Wands, you know, your home, the Four of Wands is very much your home card. You should feel safe in your home. If you look at the Four of Wands the right way up, and again, it is quite a sort of opulent family card, you know, very sort of a wealthy family card. Everything's secure. Four stable walls. Your home, you've got here the mother, the father, and the child. you know, you could see that as them, if you like, Catherine and Thomas and a young Elizabeth, perhaps, you know, just those figures there within these four walls, very stable. But we haven't got that. She didn't feel safe in her own home. She didn't feel safe even in her own four-poster bed, in her, you know, the place that she should feel safe and secure. She didn't. So, you know, you've got a really dreadful situation. So what I want to do is mush everything up now on the table here, just mush things around. I want to know whether this early sort of sexual encounter, I don't think it was ever anything more than just unwanted advances. But, you know, he was so so pushy towards her and so unpleasant, really. This older man trying to drool over her, trying to get her clothes off. You know, I don't believe anything ever happened, but what an awful situation. So I'm going to pull a Celtic Cross, and I want to find out whether that was one of the reasons that she never married, whether she decided, you know, that because of that experience as a 13, 14-year-old girl, she didn't want to be beholden to a man, basically. And I'm just going to see what a Celtic Cross will pull up for us. So I'm going to concentrate on Elizabeth as a 13, 14-year-old girl, and we'll do it from that perspective. Elizabeth, 13 to 14 years old. What did that experience do to her? Okay, so let's just start. Okay, so, you know, we're talking about Elizabeth I as this young teenager. Seven of Cups. I think that she knew when the time came that she would have a lot of choices of husband. And I think this is what the central position is. When she was ready to marry, there would be some very good matches for her and some not so good matches. And this is what the Seven of Cups is. You choose wisely, because in some of your cups, you're going to have wonderful princes, and in other ones, you're going to have toads, you know. So she knew that she had a lot of possible suitors out there, and some would be better than others. So that choice was there. And, you know, she just knew she'd have to pick wisely. And what crossed her is the Knight of Pentacles. She wanted the stability, and she didn't want what her father had been. Her father had been this, obviously we know what he was, you know, quick to annul marriages, quick to behead wives, that very unstable energy. She didn't want that. She didn't want what Thomas Seymour was. The men who had been sort of in her life were just not reliable, were quite frightening. And she wanted a Knight of Pentacles. If she was going to have one, this is her dreams as, you know, a young girl. She would want somebody who was very stable, very dependable, because her father wasn't dependable, and neither was Thomas Seymour. And she didn't want what they represented. So in her head, we've got the Nine of Swords. We've got that sleepless nights. And I think it really was, when she was 12 or when she was about 13 or 14, it really was an awful situation. It came up in reverse. And I just see that as utmost. You know, you cannot get away from this night of unpleasantness. Every night, this man's trying to get into her bedchamber, you know, just trying to do things, trying to be with her, hitting her on the backside. And now all of this sounds, oh, really? You know, but no. And even back then, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. Even back then, when girls got married at 15, 16, you know, she had a lot of sleepless nights over this, and she couldn't escape from the situation. You know, the Nine of Swords, when it's this way up, is kind of, well, you know, you wake up in the morning and you've had a bad dream, or you can cope with it and you sort it out. It's your mind more than anything. But when it's up the other way, no, you're living with this 24 hours a day. It's not just, you know, a bad night's sleep over something that's gone wrong. This was a constant in her life for a couple of years, this man forcing his attentions on her. And what was at the bottom of all this? Well, I think it probably was money. I think she was very aware of how much money played a part in everything. Even at 13, 14, she was very much aware that, you know, her stepmother, Catherine, had now sort of got a lot of wealth from, you know, the dead king. She was very much financially secure, and that money mattered because money was power. And I think she was very aware of this. And I think she was aware that this Thomas Seymour was with her stepmother for the coin. So money was very much at the bottom of all of this. And this is who he was. He was the devil, and that's the way she saw him. You know, at that age, this man who was just consumed with lust and consumed with trying to bed her, and doing it very blatantly, doing it in front of her maids, doing it in front of his wife. And you know, that's the way she saw him, and that is actually the way he was. So what did she want in the future? She wanted the 10 of Cups. She wanted security. She wanted this home, the secure home, the happy home. But this is in reverse. So, you know, that's what she wanted. That's what she wanted. But she didn't have that. Again, it's that unhappy environment. So the near future was not this happy environment. There you are. You know, you've got the happy couple here with the cats and all the cups above you, 10 of Cups, a fulfillment. That's what she wanted, but she didn't have that living with the Seymours. And you know, it was just a very dangerous place for her to be. And that's what's coming across in this feeling of I want security, but I'm in a very dangerous position. So coming up the outside, I want to know, you know, how she felt about things. What were her feelings? The Hierophants in reverse. So I see this as the people that should be caring for her. You know, you've got her stepmother, who was at one stage the queen. I don't know whether she would have been called the Dowager Queen at this stage. Probably not, because she remarried. But you know, the Hierophant, you've got that very sort of very high up card, but it's in reverse. The people that should have been caring for her weren't. They were neglectful. The people that should have had her welfare, her health, her betterment in their priorities, they didn't have that there at all. And this kind of tells me that, you know, even Catherine Parr, she didn't have Elizabeth's best interests at heart, because Catherine Parr had been the queen. You know, she had been sort of part of this Hierophant here, and she was letting this happen, basically. And how was it seen from the outside? You know, from like the people around the three of them. 6 of Cups. Well, the 6 of Cups are right way up. That's you know, looking in and seeing this nostalgic family. You know, they're all getting on well, and you know, you can see that Princess Elizabeth's very settled. You know, she's happy. She's thinking about her past, but everything's quite joyous, really, with the 6 of Cups. Everything's harmonious, and you've got a nice little family there getting on well. Well, people on the outside saw that this wasn't harmonious. This wasn't not being celebrated. It wasn't the happy family home, good memories. This child was not flourishing the way that she should have been, not being treated the way she should have been. And what did the universe say about this? Well, judgment. Well, it wasn't to carry on. It wasn't to carry on. The universe stepped in and made a judgment, and things took a big turn. From my knowledge now, bring my knowledge into this about what I know about the situation. Catherine Parr had another child, or had a child, although she hadn't had any with Henry VIII. She had a child with this Thomas Seymour. Thomas Seymour was basically hung for treason. He tried to do something with the young Prince Edward, or the young King Edward. He tried to get him overthrown or something along those lines. Catherine Parr, she gave birth to this daughter that died, and this Thomas Seymour, well, he got his judgment. He was executed. So, you know, the universe stepped in. It stepped in, and I believe this happens when, you know, when people are being vile. I think the universe does step in, and it did in this case, and sort of saved the situation, really. And the outcome there, well, I think Ace of Wands is, well, that sort of hot situation dissipated then. You know, that there wasn't any more of this person trying to climb into bed with her. There wasn't any more of this unwanted sexual advances. You know, that had gone. So all that side of things left her life. So I want to know a little bit more now. Let's go to the heart of the matter. So is this one of the reasons that Princess Elizabeth, is this the reason why she didn't marry? Did she see like the awfulness of the way her father was, and the way this Thomas Seymour, the way he was with Catherine Parr, and did she just think, I don't want a husband? Four of Wands. Four of Wands, there you are, it's come up again. That happy family, that's what she wanted. Not necessarily a happy family, she wanted a secure home. She wanted a secure home, with the Six of Pentacles the right way up. So isn't that funny? We've got those two cards now. They had both come up before, inverted. When she was helpless and she was living with them, they both came out that way, didn't they? The Four of Wands, a very sort of, she wasn't safe in her own home, and he was taking, do you remember? And now this time, now that, you know, she sort of thinks about what she wants stability. She wants not necessarily a husband, but she wants four walls where she's safe and secure. And she wants relationships in her life that are even, give and take. She doesn't want a husband that is going to be taking money, taking sex, taking, you know, power. She wants that even give and take, even give and take. So I think that's really interesting. So I think all of this French farce, when she was 13, 14, running away from this dreadful man. And, you know, I say that and it sounds quite comical, but it really is not. Trying to hide from this man who's trying to get something from her. I think that was very, very wounding to a 13, 14-year-old girl. He did get his comeuppance. I mean, they both did, because I believe that Catherine Parr was complicit in this. She knew what was going on. She died just after childbirth. The child died a few years later, and Thomas Seymour, he got executed for trying to, I think he was trying to overturn King Edward, the young King Edward. So, you know, they did get their comeuppance. But I think all of this very disruptive time in her life just made her want security, her own security, not from a man, and made her want to have very even relationships so that she wasn't beholden to a man at all. So there you are. That was just something that I wanted to do. Just very, very short period of time in Elizabeth's life, just when she was about 13 or 14, and how these unwanted sexual advances of Thomas Seymour, how they might have shaped her as an adult. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing that. And you probably know much more about history than I do. And if you do, please leave your comments and tell me what you know. And I'd be fascinated to hear more. You take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.